Hey everyone, before we get into today's video, I want to remind you to enter our Animal Crossing New Horizons giveaway. To enter, all you need to do is comment on this video, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon. That'll also ensure you don't miss any of our videos or live streams moving forward. Thank you so much for doing that, and we will announce the winner on March 19th. You can get an entry for every video we publish between now and then. Our first story deals with CD Projekt Red. Yes, the makers behind Witcher 1, 2, 3. They ported some other games, made some other games, and also have Cyberpunk 2077 coming later this year. The CEO, Adam, I'm not going to say his last name because I really don't know how to pronounce it, has done an interview, and in the interview he stated that they are already working on their next big single-player game in the Witcher series. Now, it will not be Witcher 4. You're not going to look at the continuation of Geralt. It's going to be more of a continuation of the world of The Witcher. So you're going to be looking at something else, a focus on a different character that exists in that world, that maybe the events take place after The Witcher 3, maybe they take place around The Witcher. I have no idea, but it is going to be a single-player focused game based in the world of The Witcher. So it is another Witcher game. We did know they might do this after Cyberpunk 2077 quite a while ago. We just didn't know that they were already working on that game. Now, their main team, most of their members are focused on Cyberpunk 2077, so they don't want you thinking, oh, you know, we lost focus on that game or that game is done. But they do have a smaller team already working on that next one, and obviously once Cyberpunk 2077 is wrapped up, they could shift, you know, a majority of the team over to their next project, which is clearly a Witcher game. So that's pretty exciting. Obviously, Nintendo fans and Xbox and Sony, PC, we all have a reason to be excited over a new Witcher game because obviously Witcher 3 was on Switch and on all those other platforms. So it's highly possible that the next Witcher game could also be on all those platforms. Maybe. Switch is more of the, we'll have to wait and see on that because at this point it would be a next-gen game built for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. But we'll see what happens. All I know is I'm all excited to have more Witcher anything, so let's go. I'm sure by now many of you have seen this, and if you haven't, well, I'm glad to bring you the news. New LEGO sets have been revealed. In fact, right now you're watching the trailer for Lego Mario. And as you can see in the trailer, it's a very different kind of Lego set because they sort of made a game out of it, but it's not a game. You build Mario levels out of Legos, essentially. And Mario, the character Mario is a digital thing, and it has some screens on it, and there's a timer to beat the levels. Now, you could just like go right to the end flag post and be done with the level, but there seems to be like goals involved. You know, you got like 60 seconds and you're trying to collect as many coins as you can, and the coins involve things like stomping on Goombas or Koopa Troopas, or, you know, stomping on piranha plants, etc. Doing things that gain you coins in that way. If you happen to be in lava, that'll take away coins as well. They show in the trailer a little bits of Bowser Jr., I believe it is, and Yoshi, so they will be involved in the sets as well, and there'll probably be other things added in future sets, but needless to say, this is probably going to be sold out. People have been waiting for Nintendo Lego sets for a long time, and that it's this unique of a set. People are going to view it as a highly collectible item. I could see people not even opening the boxes at times, and those that do, kind of putting them on display, because that's what a lot of adults anyways do with Legos. So I honestly think this is a really cool, interesting concept. Obviously, my hopes of having a Lego Mario game are kind of maybe squashed a bit for now, or maybe not. Who knows what the future holds now that Lego and Nintendo are working together. Obviously, you know, my mind starts racing on what kind of Zelda sets I could have. Pikmin would be a really good one to do sets for, Metroid, etc. So there's a lot of possibilities here, but obviously they're starting with Mario, the mascot of Nintendo. We'll see how it goes, but right now it looks really interesting, really different. And if you want to know how it interacts, there's actually a unique chipset inside certain Legos that register with Mario. Think like NFC and Amiibo kind of technology, except it will not be workable as Amiibo is, so you can't use the Mario on your Switch or anything like that. It's exclusive to the Lego sets, which is fine. I mean, that's the entire point of it. So I think it's really neat. I think it's really interesting. And yeah, I can't wait to see how many more sets they come out with beyond what they're unveiling today. Our next story is about Gamevice. Remember Gamevice? Yeah, they sued Nintendo back in 2017 over the Switch design because Gamevice also makes controllers that attach to your phone that don't even work really the same as Switch does, but, well, Whatever, that didn't stop them from creating a lawsuit, and like many lawsuits, it takes several years to pan out. And today, Nintendo has officially won that lawsuit. Here's a quote from 360 Law. Nintendo Company Ltd. walked away victorious from consolidated inter-parties reviews of a Gamevice Inc. mobile gaming patent, with the Patent Trial and Appeal Board invalidating all 19 claims Nintendo had challenged. In a pair of decisions issued Tuesday, the board determined that all claims were obvious in light of earlier patents. Essentially, every single claim Gamevice made against Nintendo were false and dismissed. So Nintendo won pretty handedly. I'm sure somewhere in there, Gamevice has to pay for legal fees for Nintendo and stuff like that. That usually gets included in things like this. So yeah, Nintendo destroyed them. So while Nintendo is still, being investigated over the Joy-Con stuff, this was more so, people thought this lawsuit was pretty laughable in the first place, essentially. Because when you look at Gamevice stuff like you're seeing right now, it doesn't look like Switch stuff. So I don't know how you could confuse that the patents are the same, because they're not. So it is what it is. Our last story returns to a story from yesterday, and that is about E3 being canceled. Now, I mentioned that the ESA was planning to do some sort of digital event in its place, and it looks like they're going to have some pretty hefty support to do that, as a number of companies have announced they will be doing digital events. Ubisoft said they would be doing a digital event. Phil Spencer announced that Microsoft would be shifting the Xbox event to a digital event that's going to be happening around E3 time. Digital Devolver is going to have a stream, they announced. They don't have any details on it yet, but they will be doing a stream instead. Limited Run Games will have a digital event as well. In fact, we know when, on June 8th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Nintendo said that they understand why this stuff was canceled, and that they will be working on other ways that they feel like they can deliver stuff to fans. Now, Nintendo already does digital events, so it wouldn't be shocking if they too commit to a digital event for basically the same time that they normally would do it anyways, and then have a live Treehouse thing or something that just happens at Nintendo HQ or something like that. I could see that being something that they decide to do to try to still make E3 sort of an event. I think the bigger question is, obviously, for Nintendo, is if they're going to do demos, because they can do demos and spread them out to like Best Buys around the country or something. They've done similar stuff like this before. But again, also, do you really want a whole bunch of people gathering at Best Buy to play it in the midst of the coronavirus stuff? So there's a lot of things for Nintendo to consider. If I had to guess, they probably won't do the demos this time around anywhere, even at the Nintendo World Store. Instead, just focus on the digital event and the presentation, and then maybe do worldwide demos later in the year, maybe this fall or something like that. But we'll see what Nintendo does. More companies are obviously likely to join in this as E3 sort of continues on in spirit, and we still kind of get press conferences as digital events, and these companies probably find other ways to stream things along the way. There is going to be a lot of focus shifting to Gamescom, of course, because that is the next major gaming event, and it is not even close to being canceled right now, because of when it happens. It's so much later in the year that people presume we're not going to need to worry about coronavirus by then, and that show's already been getting bigger. Jeff Keighley had a big presence there last year, and is having a big presence there this year. He kind of kicks off the show. There are smaller press conferences that happen there that maybe they might be a bigger deal this year, especially with next gen around the corner. Sony's usually there, and Microsoft and Nintendo. So we'll see what happens then. But for now, it looks like E3, the spirit of E3, we're still going to basically get a bunch of announcements at the same time that E3 would normally take place from a bunch of big companies. Don't be surprised if EA joins the fray and everyone else, because you know what? These companies still want to drive hype. They can still sell games. And honestly, while people might be stuck at home or in quarantine, it's honestly one of the best times to sell video games, because people need something to do while they're unable to do much of anything else. And if we ever get to a point where there's certain states and stuff like that are basically telling, hey, people stay home, besides having one person leave the house, digital sales could see a big boost, and game sales in general could see a big boost. So we'll see. We have seen that coronavirus has actually positively affected the game industry in other countries. Sadly, of course, that it took a virus to do that, but we've seen Switch sales explode in certain countries that they usually don't. Game sales have been exploding worldwide because people are just trying to be prepared for the possibility of being stuck in their home for months at a time. So, yeah, games are still going to come out because it's not really going to negatively affect game sales, even though some people can't work and they're going to have less income. I don't really know. There could be governmental responses to that, but cool. I'm glad that E3 in general is going to have some sort of presence, at least in terms of game announcements. I think that's what a lot of us care about from E3 the most anyways, and looks like we're still going to get that, so cool. Anyways, folks, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. We only had 4 stories for this Prime News, but they're 4 big ones. And honestly, I'm pretty excited about all of them. Hope you've been enjoying Prime News lately. I've been trying to squeeze it in the morning. I went against doing what I originally was going to do, which was record them the night before and release them at like 6 a.m. or something. I decided that it's better for me to just do it first thing in the morning and get it out as fast as I can. I don't really have a regular schedule for it yet, except for when I wake up, when my kids are taken care of, get a Prime News out as soon as I can. And that's been my goal, and it's been working out so far. You guys seem to be enjoying them, plus you have a little bit slightly more up-to-date news for your morning. So I don't know. Hopefully you guys are enjoying Prime News. If any suggestions I could do to improve the show, let me know. I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants at this point, which is what we do at this channel of Nintendo Prime, because my only promise is to try to get a video to you every single day. Everything else is gravy at this point. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am Nathaniel Robojans from Nintendo Prime. Be sure to enter that Animal Crossing New Horizons giveaway. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next video.